Hi, this is Donna Druchunas, and for our Aran knitting masterclass, I'm going to show you some different kinds of bobbles. First, a couple of mini bobblettes, or knots, whatever you feel like calling them, and then I'm going to show you how to do one with the crochet hook, which I saw in Japanese knitting books, and I did on one of my sweaters. I did the bobbles with the crochet hook and the cables without a cable needle on that sweater because I couldn't stand having my knitting needles, a crochet hook, and a cable needle. So something to think about if you like the crochet bobbles and you like to work your cables with the cable needle. It's a lot of tools to have around to combine them in the same project. But some people might like it. I decided to use the crochet hook on that, not the cable needle. So you can review my videos for this course on knitting cables with and without cable needles and try some of those techniques as well. So, but for now, we're going to just show you a baby bobble. Teeniest bobble you can do if you don't really like these big ones that we talked about before in the previous video is you just go to knit one into the front, back, and the front of a stitch. Then you slide those stitches back onto the left needle and you knit 3 together. And there you got this tiny baby bobble. See that? Isn't it cute? It doesn't show up a lot as a big giant thing like these do, but in an overall pattern, if it repeats over and over again, it forms a texture. So that's the teeny knot bobble. A lot of times when I come back on the next row on this, I will work that stitch through the back loop to make it a little tighter. Sometimes these, depending on your yarn and tension and so forth, can tend to sink into the fabric. They still show up, they still form a pattern. So if you like something much more subtle than these popcorns, you can go with that. Okay, here's a way to make one that's in between the two of those. So too big, too small. This will be Goldilocks, just right. So we're going to go 1, knit into the front, the back, and the front of that stitch. Okay, and I'm going to show you this the I-cord way because I don't want to turn back and forth. So I'm going to go back to here. I'm going to do 1 row of knitting into those stitches. Then I'm going to slide them back again, and now I'm going to decrease. You could do 2 rows if you wanted it a little bigger. So I'm going to go knit 2 together, knit 1, pass the 2 stitches over, knit a couple more stitches so I can show you. And you can see that is a little bit bigger than that, but quite a bit smaller than that. So you can change the number of stitches and rows that you work in them and come up with a different kind of size. You could do something in between, like going up to 4 stitches and working 2 rows. So play around with it. Try different number of stitches and rows. Try working back and forth. Try the I-cord way or the knitting backwards that I showed in the previous video and see what you like. And I'm going to show you this one other way that I did in one project. So you get up to the spot where you're going to make the bobble. And I think this is easier for people who knit with the yarn in their left hand because you can hold the yarn the same way for crocheting that you do for knitting. I think if you're a thrower, then you have to switch the yarn to your other hand to crochet. You'll find this probably more frustrating, but that doesn't mean not to try it because you never know. Okay, so we're going to take the stitch onto the crochet hook and we're going to make the bobble. We're going to do double crochets. So, but first I have to get that built up a little. So before I start the first double crochet, because I'm going to work into that same loop, I have to have stitches on the hook. So I make chain 2, okay, and that counts as a double crochet. You might see that if you crochet at all, when you turn a row, you'll make a turning chain, they call it. It counts as a stitch. Okay, double crochet. You put the yarn over the hook, you go back into the stitch, pull the yarn up. Now to finish a double crochet, you would catch the yarn and pull it through 2 and then 2, but we're only going to do that once. So we're going to pull it through 2 stitches. Now we have 2 loops on the hook. So I'm going to start another double crochet. I'm going to go in there, pull up the yarn, Then we're going to wrap the yarn around the hook and pull it through 2 stitches. Now we've got 3. Going to repeat that. When I did mine, I did it till I had 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Yarn over. See, it makes a big hole. It stretches that stitch out of shape. So that's one thing to know. It's not going to show up as a big hole in your knitting when you're done though. Okay, so bring it through 2, and now that I have 5 loops on my hook, I'm going to catch the yarn with the hook, bring it through all of them together. Okay, then I'm going to put that back on the left needle. So we started as 1 stitch, we're ending as 1 stitch, and I'm going to continue knitting along my row. Finish up, show you what that looks like. And that's a crochet bobble. So you can see it's kind of sort of the size of the original 5-stitch bobbles, but it looks different. It kind of leans to the side a little. And I liked it in that one. See, the bobble covers up that hole. It closes up when you finish the stitch. There's no giant hole in your knitting there. So that's another way. So those are different ways to make bobbles. I encourage you just play around, make a swatch like this, and just knit bobbles on it and see if you enjoy knitting them, if you enjoy what they look like in the pattern. And then you have tools in your knitting toolkit to make your own decisions in your design.